New show smell. Yep. Today, we're going to be talking NASCAR Xfinity Series as we head into race number 2 of the 2024 season. Don't go anywhere. This is a brand new show that still doesn't have a name.
High, push it, checker flag, hell yeah!
What's the caution for? Me?
Can I not push it in?
Stop anybody.
Come on, these guys! You're waiting out, boys! One hell of a job, man, one hell of a job! Thank you so much.
Yes, the show still needs a title. That is 100% accurate. We are asking for your help naming the show. Go ahead and leave your comments down below. What do you think we should call this little weekly get-together where we talk about NASCAR Xfinity Series racing? Go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. For now, I'm Alan Bailey, your somewhat humble host, I hope. I hate saying stuff like that, but we're going to go ahead and talk about everything that the series has to offer. We will talk about these drivers jumping up into the Cup Series when they do, and going back down to the Truck Series when they do, everything that you can expect, who's in what car, what the big name drivers are doing, and who is looking hot for the championship and who's not. So make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video when they drop either Friday morning or Saturday morning, depending on when this goes up. And yes, we're going to hopefully be doing this on off weeks as well. So make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you don't miss it. Let's go ahead and start talking about the first race of the season. It was a little weird. It was supposed to happen on Saturday at Daytona last week. It got pushed to Monday morning and then Monday night when the Daytona 500 got pushed to Monday. For the third year in a row, it was Austin Hill winning in the number 21 for RCR. Not really surprised. He's a really good plate racer. I feel really bad for Sheldon Creed. He switches from RCR over to Joe Gibbs Racing because he's sick of being number 2 to Austin Hill. And guess what? In Daytona, race number 1 with his brand new team, he's number 2 to Austin Hill. Oh, you hate to see it. Here's your finishing order from out in Daytona. Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, Parker Retzlaff, Jordan Anderson, Chandler Smith for Joe Gibbs Racing, all with top 5s. Riley Herbst, John Hunter Nemechek in a limited schedule for Joe Gibbs Racing, with Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones, and AJ Allmendinger rounding out the top 10. A couple of notables, the superstars that we're going to be keeping an eye on in 2024. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, coming home 12th in his first NASCAR Xfinity Series Super Speedway race. Pretty darn respectable. The defending champ, Cole Custer, 13th on the racetrack. Natalie Decker becoming the first woman to lead laps in a NASCAR Xfinity race at Daytona in over 10 years since Danica Patrick did it, coming home 18th. Honestly, pretty darn impressive little run right there. Rookie Jesse Love in the 2 for RCR, coming home 20th right there. Sammy Smith coming home 23rd. Anthony Alfredo in the number 5 car coming home 24th. You have Jeb Burton 26th. Daniel Dye coming home 27th. You also have Frankie Munoz coming home 33rd. Josh Williams 34th, involved in an early crash. Same with Daniel Suarez, Sam Mayer, and Haley Degan, all coming home with disappointing finishes due to accidents early on in this Daytona race. Taking a look at the unofficial point standings after Daytona, no surprise, Austin Hill has locked himself into the postseason with that victory at Daytona. Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst, Parker Retzlaff, Justin Allgaier, Jordan Anderson, Chandler Smith, AJ Allmendinger, who's back in the Xfinity Series full-time, Cole Custer, Brandon Jones, all in the top 10 in points at the moment. But can they hang on to it? That's the big question. But we are only a single race in, so let's not go ahead and throw the baby out with the bathwater. The season is still very young, so do not worry. Let's go ahead and check out some of the headlines in the NASCAR Xfinity Series right now. Carson Quaffle going to be making his debut in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports in the number 88, coming up at Martinsville on April 6th. I really like Carson. I think he's going to be a very good young talent. The question is how long does it take him to transition into a full-time Xfinity Series ride? We know that he's going to be making a handful of starts for Junior Motorsports in the number 88 car this year. Not full-time, still looking for sponsors. I do anticipate the possibility of him going full-time in 2025, but we've got to get some races under his belt first, so keep an eye on this young potential superstar. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. says, "Hey kid, come on, jump in my car," more specifically the car he's going to be racing, at least for one race this season, that's notable. Also in the Junior Motorsports camp, we found out that Club Car is going to be on the number 1 with Sam Mayer in Las Vegas on March 2nd. Sam Mayer's kind of journey to find sponsorship race by race is going to be a story we're going to be following every week. Honestly, Sam Mayer is going to be that guy that comes up probably every episode because it's going to be a different sponsor every week on that car. It doesn't surprise me at all. But we're going to have to wait and see. We also do have an update on Chris Hacker. Now, if you're unaware, Chris Hacker is a NASCAR driver who was involved in a pretty serious accident on the highway heading down to Daytona. He was hit by a semi-truck, and his list of injuries are extensive. He had multiple thoracic fractures in the spine, including the T1, the T2, the T3, and the C4 that were all found during an MRI, a ruptured spleen, which had to be removed, a collapsed lung, massive internal bleeding, a lacerated kidney, and lacerated adrenal glands. Oh my gosh. Chris posted this image online this week saying, "The devil tried stealing my heart on Valentine's Day, but he must have forgotten I was already a dead man walking. Time to head back home." Holy crap. Those are like life-threatening injuries. I'm sincerely really glad that Chris is all right, that he has been released from the hospital, that he's ironically now heading back to Florida as of the recording of this episode. Don't know what the timetable is for his return to a car, but I would imagine he's probably going to take a few months, if not longer, to make sure he's 100% right before even attempting another race in any form of NASCAR competition. But sincerely, all the best to Chris Hacker. Really glad that you made it through this, bud. Hopefully we see you at the racetrack very soon and that your recovery goes pretty quick and that it's a full recovery. I cannot stress that enough, bud. We're hoping for a full recovery for you very soon. A segment that we're going to do on the show every week is called Superstar Spotlight, where we kind of talk about the big superstars in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. There's a handful of drivers that are going to be staples in this series, or in this segment, I should say. And there's going to be ever-changing drivers that kind of rotate in and out depending on what's happening that particular week. Coming out of Daytona, the first race of the year, we obviously have to start with SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. In his rookie season, had his first Daytona race in the Xfinity Series, came home 12th, really respectable. Wow, this guy did a really good job in Daytona, sincerely. He had a couple of really close calls and a couple of dirt tracking turn right to go left moments as he slid through the grass there, and I gotta hand it to this guy. He held his own. He actually showed that he does belong there. He's a V8 Supercar champ. I do think he's going to find a home very nicely in NASCAR. This was kind of his big challenge to get at Daytona and to see how he liked the plate racing and the super speedway racing. He's going to get another double dose next week in Atlanta, this weekend, I should say. But the question is can he keep up these good runs, and can he potentially make the postseason on points this year? And I think if any of the rookies have a chance, this guy certainly does. But honestly, with those road courses, and especially Chicago, how does this guy not win? We're going to have to keep an eye on him. Hailie Degan. I am a big Hailie Degan fan because, frankly, my niece is a huge Hailie Degan fan, and for that reason alone, I want to see her succeed. But I actually do think that she is a great young driver. I think that she needs a lot more seat time to develop her skills, but I like the way her skill set is progressing. If you watch her vlogs on YouTube, you can see that she puts in a lot of work off the racetrack and goes out and does a lot of things on dirt in order to try to hone her on-track talent, and that's a really good thing. I was excited to see her jump up into the Xfinity Series because I do think that the Xfinity cars are going to suit her driving style a lot better than the trucks did. However, this was just a disappointing week for her. There's no way around it. She, unfortunately, was pushed into a wreck very early on and comes home a very disappointing 37th. Not the season that they wanted. A victory will turn that around, but I do think that Hailie Degan is definitely going to be one of those top 20, top 15 points finishers. But the question is how far up in the points will she finish? Will she contend for a victory this year? Wouldn't surprise me if she rattled off a couple of top 10s and a couple of top 5s this year, but again, the thing that I think is working against her is the fact that her race team is very young. It's only year 2 of that race team's operation in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and supposedly they were getting a lot more backing from Ford this season, and I question if they really got all those resources that were promised by Ford, and I question if this team is going to develop and really grow out the way that they should around Hailie Degan. The fact that she is in an only car organization does worry me me a little bit because she doesn't have teammates to lean on like she's had in the past. So we'll keep an eye on Miss Degan. Wish her nothing but the best. Frankie Munoz, who bought into Joey Gase Motorsports, and it's now Gase Munoz Motorsports. This was something that was announced last week, and for some reason Twitter found it this week and was like, oh, it's new! Look at how cool! It's not new, unfortunately. It's something that was announced last week, and good for him, man. I want to see Frankie Munoz succeed. Because I think that he wants to succeed for his kids more than anything. He doesn't need to go out there and win races and really compete for a championship for himself. I think he'd like that, but he doesn't need that financially or career-wise. I think he's doing this for fun. He's doing it because he's enjoying racing, and for that reason alone, I want to see him succeed. But unfortunately, a 33rd place finish out in Daytona this weekend. It's a limited schedule for Munoz, so we're going to have to see when we see him at the racetrack next. A couple of other notables in the Superstar spotlight. Cole Custer coming on 13th, your defending champ. This is a guy who's going to contend for another championship in 2024. Mark my words. It took him a little bit of time to get his feet wet last season, but once he did, he rattled off a couple of victories and got hot when it counted. Had a very Ryan Blaney-esque year in the Xfinity Series last year, and I do think that he can do that again this year. The question is how long do they need in order to frankly put this team together and get them gelling properly? I don't think that they've missed a step from Phoenix, but the results in Daytona didn't indicate that with a 13th place finish, so we'll see what he has for Atlanta this weekend. Austin Hill rattling off another Daytona victory. It's really cool, but it's only the Xfinity Series, so I don't mean to take away from their accomplishments, but it's RCR at Daytona. It's RCR plate racing. They're one of the best in the garage area right now for a reason in this department. The question is can they kind of keep this flame lit all season long? I see them peaking early like they did last year and then just fizzling off mid-season and then not showing up entirely in the postseason when it counts, or getting run over by the competition literally when it really counts. So keep an eye on Austin Hill. I do think that he is a threat to make the Final Four, but will he actually do it? I don't know. We're going to have to see how things develop in the postseason this year. Coming up this weekend, it is Atlanta, Saturday, February 24th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1 here in the United States. It's 40 laps for stage number 1, 40 laps for stage number 2, and 83 laps to end out that third and final stage out at Atlanta. Motor Super Speedway, what are we calling this track now? Because it's very much its own little thing. This is another plate track that will see tight pack racing, but it's only too wide and things get very hairy early. I anticipate another crash at the finish, crash coming to the line, crash coming off of turn 4. Getting on and off pit road will be a challenge this weekend. They have kind of this weird 2 speed limit thing on pit road, and let me explain. NASCAR wisely making the decision not to have the commitment cone coming off of turn 4, but instead on the back straightaway going into turn 3. So cars pull off, in theory, on the backstretch and ride on the apron all the way around turn 3 and 4 and then pit. I like this a lot better because it's always been dicey pulling off of pit road or pulling onto pit road, coming off of 4 at Atlanta, coming off of 4 in general. This is the safest way to do it. This is the best way to do it. NASCAR did this last year and it was really, really great. And we're hoping to see similar results this weekend out at Atlanta. But there is one speed limit for that essentially access road and apron in 3 and 4, and then another one once you actually hit pit road. So it's going to be interesting to see who can commit to that and who can do it. But these back-to-back super speedway races, I'm still kind of split on the whole thing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We will open hot takes specifically to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, so leave your comments down below. What did you guys think of the race in Daytona? And after the race in Atlanta this weekend, what did you think about the race at Atlanta? Go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. And while you're there, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video here on the channel. You can also go ahead and leave your comments down below for what you think that this show should be named. We can't have Xfinity in the name. We cannot have the word NASCAR in the name. So I'm kind of split. Pit Pass was thrown out there. A couple of other options were thrown out there. I want to hear from you. I want to let you name the show. So go ahead and leave your name recommendations down in the comments below. We hope to announce something by next week and get that damn opening fixed, because right now, So for this brand new NASCAR Xfinity Series show, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see ya at the track.